Have you ever asked God for something for numbers of years and it just felt like nothing changed? In my situation, I've been praying for healing for 14 years now. I've had multiple surgeries on both of my legs. I've gone through several hours and hours of physical therapy or rehab, as you say, and it just felt like nothing changed for a long time. And I was very confused. I was heartbroken. It was a hard life because I couldn't do anything, to be honest with you. It was hard to sit down, hard to stand up, hard to move around. I experienced chronic pain in my body constantly, nonstop. It changed my life, changed my lifestyle, changed my habits. It became my identity, to be honest with you. And it took me reading John 5 over and over and over again before God gave me a different perspective and shifted my focus about healing. And that's why I'm here. That's what I want to share with you guys. And I hope as I share this, I know for a fact that it will impact your life. It will change your life in regards to whatever it is that you're waiting on God for. Even if it's not healing, it could be anything else. So before I share my insights, I kind of want to just read a few verses in John 5, which will give us like context to what I'm talking about, right? So, this is the story about the man who was healed at the pool of Bethesda, right? So, starting from verse 2. Now, there is in Jerusalem by the sheep gate a pool, which is called in Hebrew Bethesda, having five porches. In these lay a great multitude of sick people, blind, lame, paralyzed, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down at a certain time into the pool and stirred up the water. Then whoever stepped in first, after the stirring of the water, was made well of whatever disease he had. Now a certain man was there who had an infirmity 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he had already been in that condition for a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to be made well?" The sick man answered him, "Sir, I have no man to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up. But while I am coming, another steps down before me." Jesus said to him, "Rise, take up your bed and walk." And immediately the man was made well, took up his bed and walked. And that day was the Sabbath. The Jews therefore said to him who was cured, they're talking about the man, right? "It is the Sabbath. It is not lawful for you to carry your bed." Strange thing to say. He answered them, "He who made me well said to me, 'Take up your bed and walk.'" Then they asked him, "Who is this man who said to you, 'Take up your bed and walk'?" But the one who was healed did not know who it was, for Jesus had withdrawn, a multitude being in that place. Meaning there was a lot of people there, right? Afterward, Jesus found him in the temple and said to him, "See, you have been made well. Sin no more, lest a worse thing come upon you." The man departed and told the Jews that it was Jesus who had made him well. Now, I don't know about you guys, but reading this story, a lot of things fell off to me from the get-go, from the jump, right? And three things kind of stood out to me, right? The first thing was Jesus's question. Uh, it says Jesus saw this man who's been dealing with whatever condition he was in for 38 years. And Jesus asked this man, "Do you want to be well?" Right? And for me, like I just thought that was not the question. The question didn't make sense to me because if I already know he's Jesus already know he's dealing with this, like why ask that question, right? So that was the first thing that kind of made me go like, huh? Like why that, right? The next thing was the man's response to Jesus, right? If I was him, if somebody, if I was in this pool area with a bunch of other sick people waiting to be healed, right? And even if it was a stranger that came up to me and was like, "Hey, Yemi, do you want to be healed?" I'm pretty sure the first thing out of my mouth would be, "Yes, I want to be healed." Before I even ask them, "Who are you?" I'll probably just be like, yeah, I want to be healed. Like, why are you asking me that question, right? Like, that's why I'm here. That's why we're all here. But instead, this man who's been afflicted for 38 years, he doesn't say, yes, I want to be healed. Instead, he voices his frustration about the whole process of trying to be healed, right? He immediately focuses on the pool, like, and he's complaining to Jesus, like, he's pretty much saying, I want to be healed, but I can't get in the pool which is meant to heal us. I can't get there because nobody could get me into the pool. And I also thought that was weird because I was just like, why not just say, yes, I want to be healed and then go into all that, right? And the third thing that kind of stood out to me was also the response of the Jews at the time that were around them, because they were so concerned with, it's a Sabbath, you're not supposed to carry your bed and walk. And in my mind, I'm reading this and I'm thinking, like, something amazing just happened. Like, you guys just bypassed the miracle that just happened and you're focused on the law, you're focused on the rules, right? I'm not saying I'll do anything better than them. I probably, if I was there, I probably maybe might have focused on the rules too. But I'm pretty sure I was still, at the back of my mind, the first question I'll probably ask him is, how did you get healed? Like, what happened? You didn't get in the pool, but yet, like, you're healed. How did you get healed? So those three things kind of stood out to me, and I kind of sat with those three things and I prayed about it, right? Like I said, I'm somebody who's dealing with health issues for 14 years, crazy chronic pain that I deal with. So I was just kind of thinking to myself, like, Jesus, why did you ask him, does he want to be healed? Like, of course he wants to be healed. But as I'm thinking about that, it almost like he's the guy's response kind of answered my question about why Jesus asked him that question, because he's been dealing with this for 38 years. I wonder how much, like, I know for me, for 14 years, like, there's so many things that it could be encouragement, it could be something somebody wants to tell me, and I just turn my ear off to it because it's like I'm so tired, I'm so exhausted, I'm burnt out that I just want to be healed. That's all I'm focused on, and all I'm focused on is how to get that healing, right? And I realized, like, Jesus asked him this question kind of to test his resolve, to test, like, his desire for change, right? And he was focused on the pool, right? He was focused on, this is the way I know I will be healed. And I won't lie, I'm very guilty of that. And that's kind of where I'm coming to with this, is for years, my own pool, so to speak, right, was, I've read the stories of how God heals. I've read the story of how Jesus encountered so many people, strangers, and immediately, like, they were healed. Like the woman with the issue of blood, she touches Jesus's garment, healed. The soldier who approached God about his child who was ill, he tells Jesus, just send the word, right? And Jesus said, hey, wow, great faith, like, and he sent the word, and healing happened. So my own pool was miracles. I wanted a miracle in my life, man. Like, you guys don't understand. Like, I wanted my story to be, I'm this athlete who got hurt. I went to Jesus for healing. Jesus healed me, and now I'm back on the field. Like, I had my mind set on that, to where I didn't see anything else. Kind of like the man. All he saw in the moment was the process that he knew will bring about healing, right? And then Jesus tells him, get up and walk, right? And as we read in the verse, like, he later on goes to the temple, right? And in my own opinion, that kind of just showed how much gratitude he had in regards to being restored. And the reason why I say that is I parallel that to my life, and I can't tell you how many times in the past, I didn't go to church just because my mindset was like, I'm not getting healed in the church, so why am I going there? Like, by the way, I know, and I'm just being honest, in the beginning of my relationship with God, it was very transactional. It was all about, all right, I know God does this thing, so let me go to him to get that thing, right? So I just thought that was like a beautiful icing on the cupcake that he, went to the temple to get here. But anyway, my point is, a lot of times in asking for what we want in regards to, in my case, healing, it's not about how we think we should be healed, right? It's not about how we think we should get something we've been praying to God for. A lot of times God invites us into his world, right? He invites us into that relationship with him, right? Over what we think um, things, over what we think certain things should go. So, like I said, for me, it was the pool. The pool or miracles was my pool, where I just believe like if the way God is gonna heal me is gonna be through a big miracle, because then it's gonna be an amazing testimony, right? And if I'm being honest with you, that attitude, my identity in my suffering, because I continue to suffer because my mindset was if I don't get those miracles, that healing is not gonna come about. And mind you, like I said, I already went through multiple surgeries, rehab. So to be fair, there was a part of me that also felt like, all right, if God is gonna heal me through those things, like I've already tried it and it didn't work. But if I'm being honest with you, I didn't have the right mindset about it. My focus was on me. My focus was on my own understanding. My focus was on how I believe God should work in my life, and I feel like it's something that we all do today. Where be it relationships, finances, career, we kind of have a mindset of how we want God to work in our life, and it don't work like that. Unfortunately, I won't even say unfortunately. Fortunately, it doesn't work like that, because there's so much more beauty in how God wants to work in your life. And for me, over the years, I've been praying for physical healing, but there was so much more healing in my heart. Healing in my heart that needed to take place. Because if you guys, the at the end of that story, Jesus tells him, "Sin no more, lest something worse happens to you." And I realized, like, throughout my journey of praying to God, trying to be healed, my lifestyle did not support my healing. So long term, I probably would have fallen right back to the same spot. I probably would have gone right back to the same spot. And sometimes, I mean, it's so obvious, right? Like Jesus, God sees more long term, while we are more focused on immediate relief. While we're so short sighted a lot of times, right? So in the midst of me praying for healing, wishing I had this miracle, it almost felt like God could see my heart and see that, wait, you don't even have the lifestyle to sustain this healing that you want. And I won't lie to you, it threw me off, because I'm like, man, God is faithful, God is merciful. There's so many people that He just healed right out the gate without like them having the sufficient lifestyle, right? And that's not for me to know how God chooses to heal one person or the next, right? And for me, that's kind of where trust also comes in. And that's what I felt like God also showed me. Like, I have to trust in His way of bringing about healing, right? I have to trust in how He wants to write my story and not how I want to write my story, because I won't lie to you. That's what I was caught up on. I was caught up on like, I'm gonna get this miracle, man. I'm gonna get back on the field. It's gonna be an amazing testimony, right? And at the end of the day, healing should also lead us to God and not self, right? And what I just said in regards to my testimony, right? That healing would have not led me to God even more. It would have led me right back to my own self indulgence. It would have led me right back to my own idols that I had at the time in regards to how I view life, my lifestyle, and how I wanted things to go. So, not to be long winded, I just say all that to say, for any of you who's hoping to God for healing, or for whatever it may be that you are trusting Him for, the saying, obedience is better than sacrifice, right? I won't lie. There's so many times that I wonder if I just obeyed, and did the things with pure faith and intention, like rehab, physical therapy, I wonder where I'll be today in regards to that. But I try not to think that way because I still think it's been a beautiful life either way. It's been a beautiful lesson, and I know it happened the way it happened because there are probably some of you out there who's dealing with the same thing, and I just want to encourage you today to let go of your understanding. Right? I think it's what Proverbs 3, 4, 5, or 6 that talks about lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge Him, right? Whatever God has told you to do, regardless of how simple it may be, regardless of how for you it might seem dumb, for you it might seem stupid. Like, why am I like what? For you it might even be a question that God has posed to you that you're just like, why is God asking me this question? Um, or it could even be in my case, right? Like lifestyle change that I needed to sustain to keep my healing, whatever it may be. You're better off obeying. You're better off doing what he said because he has the best thoughts for you. And the exact thing that you're actually hoping for, right, might be the thing that he's trying to give you. And your understanding, your thinking, your mindset could get in the way of you getting that thing that you want so much. So I hope this blessed you as much as it blessed me. I know it sounds so simple, but trust me, that's how I felt too. I was like, man, something this simple, like how has this kept me stuck for so many years? So um it's not for us to see the whole picture all the time. Rather it's for us to just trust God and let go and obey. And I hope this blesses you. For any of you guys out there that um, need healing prayers or anything like that, don't be shy to reach out to me. I'll join you in prayers. I've walked through dealing with health issues for so long, so I know what it may feel like, even if I might not experience the same thing you do. But we're in this together, and I just want to encourage you to do that. So I hope this bless you, and I hope you have a great and wonderful day.